back, everybody. Today we're talking about maintenance mode, what it is, how to stay in it, and how to still achieve amazing results. So let's get into it. Maintenance mode isn't about being stagnant or staying in a pause. It's about maintaining the progress that you've already made while refining that. So whether you're losing weight, maintaining, or gaining muscle, this is a great way to refine your progress and keep going from there. Think about it like you're in a cruise control on your car. That is what maintenance mode is. You're still moving forward as you're steadily making progress. Alright, so step number 1 is finding your maintenance calories. So this is really important because it's going to allow you to find what your daily intake should be in terms of calories and then go from there. So in this step, it is really important to know your daily intake, and this is when you need to find that by putting your numbers in a calculator. That's called total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE for short. And I'm going to show you guys the calculator here or here somewhere on the screen how to calculate your maintenance calories. On this step, you need to find out what your maintenance calories is for the day, which is of course the amount of energy you need to maintain your current weight. And then on this, we're going to make sure we're tracking our progress, or we're tracking our daily intake when it comes to the food. So having a food scale is really important in this step especially. We have a video that we made about foundational, like how to basically make a meal plan, affordable meal plan, and a shopping list. So we're gonna put that in the link, the description below. So be sure to visit that also. When you find your daily intake when it comes to your calorie, then you can follow that video and make sure you're actually prepping based off of that. So it's easier for you to hit your daily intake when it comes to the calories. Alright, so step number 2 is making sure that you're keeping your workouts consistent. So just because you're on a maintenance doesn't necessarily mean you have to stop working out now, but also it doesn't mean that you have to work out like you're prepping for a competition. It is ideal to work out 3 to 4 times a week, which is really good, especially if you are already like somebody who works out with weights. You can do your weightlifting sessions 3 to 4 times a week, and then from there on the days that you have off days, make sure you're still hitting your 10K steps. And then in addition to that, make sure you are doing other activities that you love, like yoga, cycling, whatever other adventures that you want to take, and just make sure you on a daily basis you're still moving. And so this is where I want to actually tell you guys that we have Ramadan is coming up as Muslims, and so we have a Ramadan workout guide that we created for you. It's a boot camp style, so we're gonna work out every single day of the week, and we're gonna make sure we're working out with weights, as well as, like I said, we're also making sure that we're hitting our daily activities as well when it comes to the movement part of things. So that is now on a pre-order. I'm gonna put the link below, so be sure to actually visit there and grab that bootcamp, the Ramadan Bootcamp. I'm really excited about it because I put a lot of energy and effort to it. It's not ready yet. So the Ramadan Bootcamp is gonna be from February 28th to March 29th, which is going to be the calendar days for Ramadan. But as we know as Muslims, there's like one day that it might shift forward or backward. So regardless, our workout bootcamp is going to start from the 28th of February all the way through March 29th. So that's 30 days. So we're going to work out every single day, 7 days a week, and then we're going to have one day where we do a check-in, and then we're going to go from there. And I'm going to add some Zoom sessions as well, just so everybody is going to be back to basis and stuff like that. If you guys have questions and things like that, be sure to grab that pre-order guide down below as well. Alright, step number 3 is making sure that you are eating nutritionally dense food, preferably on a high protein. So I showed you already, guys, how to calculate your daily intake. On that, there is a way that you are going to be able to get into a higher protein intake of the day. So choose that option, especially when it comes to your daily caloric intake, and use that as a reference. And then also I attached the meal prep video on the link below as well, so use that as a reference as well. So just because you're on a maintenance doesn't necessarily mean like you're on a free-for-all and you can eat whatever you want. No, we still have to, balance our foods and balance our diet and eat in a nutritionally dense way. That way you're gonna get the most value out of your maintenance. Also, you're not gonna put on a lot of fat as well, which is really important, especially when you're on a maintenance. Also, think about food as fuel. At the end of the day, it's not like you're gonna go and eat, a bunch of cakes and stuff like that. So think of food as fuel, and make sure you're eating based off of what your body needs, which is most likely higher protein intake. So make sure you're using that as a reference as well. All right, we're gonna get into the next step. Alright, so step number 4 is monitor, don't obsess, especially when it comes to your progress. It's really, really important for you to track your progress, but this is not like you're gonna obsess over it, especially when it comes to the scale. A lot of people like to weigh themselves. I'm not a big fan of that because the scale is only gonna show you the total, your total body mass basically, and that's not really a measurable way that we can measure based off of like what our progress looks like. So best way to check your progress is number 1, make sure you're taking pictures of yourself, preferably every single week. I used to take pictures probably every session of my workouts when I started out at the beginning, but now I do it like, you know, every week, like on Fridays or something like that. So that's a good way for you to check in with yourself. And then second thing that you could do is making sure that when it comes to the measurement, you're measuring based off of how your clothes fit as well as how your body looks. So when you're like looking at yourself in a mirror, you can tell whether or not you're like tying up, you know, your body has like some maybe additional fat or extra fat on top of your body and stuff like that. So this is when you actually really need to track, and especially because we don't want to put on a lot of fat on our maintenance time or our maintenance mode rather, we want to be sure that we are tracking everything based off of that. And then the other thing that's really, really important is make sure you're checking in with your energy, how your energy feels like, how your mood is, and that's really going to help you to tweak things basically. And then the other big thing is we're going to get into in a little bit is sleeping and making sure that you're resting, because that also does affect your daily workouts as well as your progress when it comes to like your moods, your energy and things like that. So we're going to get into that next. Alright, so step number 5, make sure that you're setting mini steps or mini goals rather. This is really going to help you maintain, as well as if there is something that you're lacking, you can get better at. For example, if you know, your squat depth is not that great, this is a good time for you to focus on form, record yourself. I'm big also proponent when it comes to recording yourself in the gym. If you don't have, like, you can get a tripod that's like $5 from Amazon. I have the Amazon basic one right here on my camera now, and that's like very inexpensive. Otherwise, you can get like one of those selfie sticks. That's what I used at the beginning when I started, you know, recording myself. Or you can even grab a bench and then have your water bottle, you know, here, and then just have your phone as a FaceTime camera, and then just hit there and just track your squats, how you're moving and things like that. And then you can reference back, especially if you're training with either a trainer or online coach, you can reference back to the program that you're using, and then that way you're gonna be able to see how your form is, and then you can improve from week to week. Another thing that you can actually make sure you're improving is your steps on a weekly basis. If you're not at the 10K steps on a daily basis now, you can start from 5K, do that for about 4 weeks, and then go up to 8K, do that for about 4 weeks, and then hit that 10K about month 3. It's really, really reasonable, and it's really achievable as well. So make sure you guys are tracking that as well. All right, in addition to that, I just want to make sure on my notes I'm not really missing anything. Make sure you're engaging other things when it comes to like the tracking part. So you're tracking your, you know, calories like we talked about earlier, you're tracking your workout progress, you're tracking your weights, as well as you're tracking your lifts. So this is really important because you're on a maintenance. You might not be able to move a lot of weight, but you can still do that as you are also focusing on the form when it comes to the mini goals. So you can set mini goals on a weekly basis, try to do that, and then if you're not hitting the goals on that week, don't harp on it too much. Come back next week fresh and then do that again. And so that way you have like a little mini goals on a weekly basis, and then you can go ahead and focus on that every single week. All right, let's get to the next one. Okay, step number 6. Step number 6 is make sure that you're prioritizing rest and recovery. This is really, really important because at the end of the day, if you have a good restful night, that's going to translate to your morning next day or tomorrow. So our day starts the night before. So your night routines are really important. Making sure that you're managing your stress is really important. Make sure that you're hitting that 7 to 8 hours. I would even say 8 to 9 hour sleep time at night. And then also make sure you're tracking your REM sleep, like the deep sleep. That is really, really important. And then also another thing that I really want to stress here is make sure you're actually tracking your recovery days. If you have days that you kind of resort for just recovery, it's really, really important for you to do like things like mobility, foam rolling, all those, and then even sauna, red light therapy. All those things are really going to help you recover faster and then also accumulate or recruit muscles as well, which is really, really important because at the end of the day, muscles king here. And so one thing that really helps me when it comes comes to recovery score and like tracking my recovery is Whoop. It's a watch that's like a Oura ring, if you've ever heard of that. It's just so that I know what my recovery score is, what my sleep number is. I always try to make sure I hit 100% on my sleep, and then my recovery score is really good. If my recovery score is a little bit low for that day, I might do moderate weights when it comes to the gym. And then also when it comes to strain, they call activity strain, I think, on the app here on Whoop. So when it comes to activity also, it is really important for you guys to make sure your body is able to handle whatever activities that you're doing on a daily basis. And Whoop is a really good tool that I have used in the past and still use now to make sure that I'm not overextending myself. It's really hard for me to take days off. It's really hard for me to kind of like dial back when it comes to workouts and things like that, because like I said, I started working out 7 times a week when I started at the beginning. So I'm always like mentally, I feel like that kind of got ingrained in my mind. So it's really hard for me to take time off, to take recovery days and things like that. So Whoop is one of the things that really did help me make sure that I'm not overextending myself and my body. And I'm not, because that's like when you get injured is when you're either tired or your body's not ready for the demand that you're giving it and all that good stuff. So I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I'm gonna put my Whoop link in the comment or in the description below, and you guys can grab it. It's a really good tool. It's inexpensive. I think it's like about $30 a month or something. Better than Netflix subscription for sure. It's really gonna help you with your recovery score and everything in between. I'm gonna put the link in the description below. So check Whoop out, and that's sleep. Alright, so why is maintenance mode important, right? Honestly, I think maintenance mode is really powerful, because this is where, like, the truth honestly is, this is where you actually understand the importance of balance in life and sustainability and longevity and all that good stuff. Because at the end of the day, if you're always on the go, especially when it comes to your training and you're training with heavy weights and things like that, it really sometimes gets harder to either dial back, like I said, on the recovery section, or it's really hard for some people to push on the boundaries when it comes to your weightlifting. So the recovery mode is really important because it is where the biggest growth actually happens. This is where you understand that, you know, there's nothing that's perfect at the end of the day. You have to trust the process. You have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Also in this section, this is where the maintenance mode, this is where consistency happens, which is the most important thing on your fitness journey, because you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're self-disciplining yourself, and you're building that self-trust, you're building that self-reliant, and then that's when the actual discipline happens. The discipline doesn't happen overnight. Discipline is not like motivation where you're like hyped up for a second and, you know, you're like, oh, okay, now what? What's next, right? This is where maintenance mode is where the biggest progress is actually happen, and this is where you really need to hone in onto making sure that you're actually, you know, focusing on form, you're focusing on recovery, you're focusing on all the other important parts of the fitness journey. And then in addition to that, making sure that you're balancing this with your real life, because I'm sure you guys have work, you guys have, you know, school, some of you are in school, some of you have families, so everybody's in a different season of life. But when you get into this maintenance mode, this is the best way that you can sustain your life, you can sustain and balance everything else in between, and then also you can also make progress at the same time, realistic progress that is, okay? So make sure you guys check out the Ramadan Bootcamp. I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna be training with you, by the way, so I'll be doing the same program with you as well. The pre-order is now open, so go ahead and pre-order. Is very inexpensive as well. I wanted to make sure that everybody can afford this. And so if you guys also let me know in the comments below what your focus is in this month, and what are you focusing on. We talked about the restarting mode last week. Are you in that phase? Are you in maintenance mode phase? And then next week we're gonna talk about rest phase, or rest mode rather. So let me know where you are. Please make sure you like this video, comment below where you are in this journey of fitness. It's never ending. We're gonna always keep going, right? And then also make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're building a small community here. Also, if you guys are interested, go ahead and join the Discord group. I created a Discord group especially for this channel, and everybody or anybody can actually join. It's totally free. But I want to build a community of women, especially men are not allowed to be in there. I wanted to build a community of women where we are able to help each other, we're able to lean on to each other and be able to, you know, help each other when it comes to hurdles and things like that, and then also empower each other when it comes to when you are in a little bit of a rut or something like that. So make sure you find all those resources below. Till next time, make sure you wake up, take action, and repeat. See you next one. Bye!